All right, let's do it, y'all. Let's chop it up, man. The Magic City Massacre down in Atlanta. Knicks. The game is still going, but I decided to come on here early and kick it with y'all because not much else to see. So the Knicks are going to the second round for the fourth straight year. Crisis averted. I'm old enough to remember after game 3, Knicks fans were panicking. Get rid of Mike Brown, trade Towns, blow the team up. And since then, they haven't lost a game. In fact, excuse me, 3 straight beatings. Tonight, you had the largest halftime deficit in NBA history. Also had the largest lead through 3 quarters. And, here's what's crazy, y'all. Here's what's insane to me. My throat's giving me some issues. Hang on, y'all. All right, let's try this one more time. A little bit of an abbreviated show, and I guess I can't go too crazy. My throat is messing with me and been coming down with something, and I gotta save my voice. I'm gonna be on the radio Saturday morning from 9 to noon, and then Sunday morning from 8 to noon. I'm gonna be on TV on SNY Saturday night as well. So I can't go too nuts. I need my voice. It is at this point my best asset, right? So I apologize for being low energy and monotone, but boy, feels like a long time ago. The Hawks were up 2-1 in this series. I had one of my boys from college down in Atlanta text me after game 4. Let's throw some bread on this series. It's the easiest money I've ever won because since that bet was made, the Knicks have bludgeoned the Hawks for 8 straight quarters. Since CJ McCollum's game-winning shot in game 3, the Knicks have annihilated the Hawks for 12 straight quarters. And it felt like in this game, we were watching two teams that not only didn't belong on the same floor together, but Atlanta should have been relegated to the G League. Like, that's how much of a mismatch this was tonight. And I was looking to say this before I had to take a break. Yo, early in this game, first quarter, the Knicks start off by scoring the first 5 points. So you're like, oh, okay. This is the type of time I'm on. This is the type of time they're on. This is the type of energy we're going to get tonight. Then Atlanta comes back with 9 straight. Nickeil Alexander-Walker hits a 3 in the corner to make it 9-5. The crowd is starting to get into it. I'm like, all right, we're going to have ourselves a game tonight. Like, it's going to be fun. Back and forth affair. Yo, it was 9-5. The Hawks were up 9-5. 9-5. And then from that moment on, the Knicks went on a 67-13 run. Yo, there's a bunch of us watching this game all in unison saying, I've never quite seen anything like this before. This is beyond crazy. A 67-13 run in an NBA game and an NBA playoff game between a 3 and a 6 seed. Yo, you don't even see games this bad between 1 and 8s. I don't even think you could have the worst team in the NBA, and I guess the Knicks did beat the Nets by 60 this year. So I was gonna say I don't even think you could have the worst team in the NBA playing this game tonight and look as bad as Atlanta did. But the Knicks smacked around Brooklyn by 60 points. This was a beat down that I understand coming into it. It was house money for the Hawks. Season already a success. Hell of a job by Quinn Snyder. I mean, they just stole CJ from Washington. Jalen Johnson had his coming out party this year. He's going to be an all NBA. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, before the game, was awarded the most improved player of the year. And it's despite the fact that they missed on that Ricochet pick. Nice team. Dyson Daniels got to work on his offensive game. Like, you've got to at least have some type of like resistance. Teams just decided they can't guard you. But Congo, like, it's a nice little fun bunch. Kaminga. So coming into the series, because of what Atlanta had done since the All-Star break, and again, if you're just joining, my voice is shot right now. I'm coming down with something, or I've come down with something. So knowing that I've got a lot of obligations this weekend, I gotta chill. I can't be screaming and yelling. But anyway, coming into the series, the thinking was already a victory for Atlanta. Successful season. This is just icing on the cake. And house money. But yo, I think all of that to some degree has to change where you get waxed that way. The way that they got embarrassed tonight. They were down 50 the entire game. Aiden Rock says BTA, belt to ass, fire emoji. The entirety of the game. Atlanta was getting pummeled. It got so bad. Dyson Daniels was like, I'm taking my rock and I'm going home. Started a fight with Mitchell Robinson. He didn't want to be there anymore. Like, that's how bad this thing got. And if you're a Knicks fan, as happy as you are tonight, you want to get a little bit more excited? Go check out what's happening in Philly right now between the Celtics and the Sixers. Boston looks like a complete mess. They are down 15 with 4 minutes and 46 seconds left to go in the third quarter. And they just look out of sorts. Jaylen Brown's been in foul trouble all game. They're not hitting their threes. That Sixers offense is cooking them. And they just look out of sorts. Completely out of sorts. Still a lot of time left, so they can come back. But you got to be sitting here wondering. We've been for months talking about Knicks Celtics round 2 because we knew Detroit had locked up the number 1 seed. And in some order, it was going to be Celtics, Knicks. Celtics end up getting the 2 seed, Knicks the 3 seed. We've been previewing this series for months. We are 16 real game minutes away from this thing going to 7. And once it gets to 7, especially because of how games 5 and 6 looked, anything can happen. So if you're a Knicks fan, you got to be ecstatic tonight. What a night. Your team just exploded all over the Hawks. Shout out at OG Anunoby. Another great game. Hell of a series, bro. Hell of a series by OG. He averaged 20 and 9 coming into this series on 57% from the field, 54% from 3, and then gave you 29, 7, and 2 tonight. And was a plus 42. And that mattered. You guys know I don't believe plus minus is like this catch-all number. But OG was outstanding tonight. Karl Anthony Towns, another playoff triple-double. And the fact that he was 1 for 4 from the field, he hit 10 free throws, gave you 11 boards, 10 assists, 3 steals, another game where he's playing really good defense, a block shot, and it feels like it's all, coming together for the Knicks, man. Something about that loss in game 3 woke this team up, especially how they lost. They were getting beat handedly all game long. They storm back and have that late rally. Jaylen puts them up 3. They give the game away. And on a final possession, couldn't even get a shot off. But there was something about how they lost that game that just ignited a fire in this group for the next 12 quarters. And it just wasn't competitive. The Magic City Massacre. Shout out my man, Emax Stats. Edward, what's up? Magic City Massacre on a t-shirt. Trademark it now. Edward, I told you. Hawks had no chance in the series, man. I know you're down in the ATL with your family. Shout out to y'all. Beautiful family down there. Getting it popping. But they had no chance in this series. And it should have been over in game 5. And by the way, if you're a Hawks fan, that's the thing. You're like, I wish we would have just lost this series in 5 to avoid getting trounced like this in game 6 at home. When you started to feel like, all right, we got a chance. All we got to do is take care of business at home, get this thing back to MSG on Saturday night, and then anything can happen. Asked Indiana from a couple years ago. If you're a Hawks fan, you would rather have lost this series in 5 games. You're like, yo, CJ, don't go nuts in game 2. Let's just take this L gracefully and get up out of here. But I mean, there's not too much to say about this game. I don't remember the last time I saw a team get their teeth kicked in like this in the playoffs. I guess I like the comp that immediately came to mind was that 2021 playoff game, Suns Mavs. It's game 7. The Luka series where I think the Suns scored something like, it's actually 2022. The Suns scored something like 27 points in game 7, and Luka was just giving it to them. Was that they scored 27? I think they had 27 points at halftime. Yeah, they scored 27 points at halftime. Wow. Nina Wall says Sixers up big 2, Celtics elimination. As Knicks on an ultralight beam. Yeah, I was talking about that. Watching that Celtics game, looks like Jason Tatum's going back to the locker room. He was dealing with some type of a leg issue, and that's something to keep an eye out for, because you've got a game 7 on the horizon. Celtics are down 15, and you watch this game, it feels like they're down 30. It feels like they're down by as many points as Atlanta was down. And Atlanta ends up losing that game by 51, bro, which is crazy. But Jason Tatum, he's headed back to the locker room. And he's been doing some work on a leg, and he looks like he had been limping. So we'll keep an eye out for on Jason Tatum. I don't think it's the same leg. I do not think it's the same leg, but I did see him go back to the locker room. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. Wow. Jason Tatum. Celtics look terrible. They look horrible. But shout out to the Knicks fans. Aiden rocks. Well, there's plenty of nightlife spots in Atlanta that the Hawks players can go to and cure their sorrows. Yo, if I'm a Hawks fan, I'd rather have taken this L, man, in 5 games. Pack us up in 5 games. Get us up out of here. Get on to the off season, because this just like puts a stain on what was supposed to be a house money series. End the year, a little bit of buzz. And it's not to say that they're going away. They have a bright future. But we've said that about a bunch of teams that never quite got to that next level. We said that about the Hawks in 2021, who got to a conference final with Trae Young and DeAndre Hunter. Like that team, we thought, oh, they've got a bright future. Kevin Huerter. They're not going anywhere. They'll be good. And they haven't been back there since. Orlando, they're up 3-2 in this series, but they were the 8th seed. People have been singing the Magic's praises for years now. So, listen, I don't know, man. I don't know that Atlanta is going to be that next team that leaps into contention. It was a fun season, great story. Once again, hell of a job by Quinn Snyder. But your best player is also 34 years old in CJ McCollum. And he was off for the last 3 games in the series. What was the largest margin of defeat in NBA playoff history? It's definitely not that far off. Let me try to look that up, because typically you'll see a stat like that posted right after Let's go to ESPN Insights. See what they got. So the Knicks tonight, largest halftime lead in NBA playoff history, which was 47. Largest lead in the playoff game in the play-by-play era, which is 61. Most points in playoff history is a buck 36. Carl Anthony Towns joins Wilt as the only 7-footers in NBA history with multiple postseason triple doubles. So that's an incredible feat for a guy Knick fans didn't want. Largest defeat in playoff history. I'm looking for that. It's a great question. I'm a stat guy. I got to know this. Largest margin of victory. Trying to find it. Well, the largest margin of victory in a closeout game in NBA history. You had the Cavs over the Heat back in 2025. They won by 55 points. In the 2015 season, Bulls over the Bucks by 54. Knicks finished third. They have this 51-point win, largest margin of victory in a closeout game in NBA history. So they're third on that list. This is definitely the largest playoff margin of victory in franchise history. You had James Dolan sitting there like, yo, we're up by 41 points in the, what was that? Was it the first quarter? The second quarter it was. Early second quarter. He says to Stephon Marbury, yo, we're up by 41 points. So the closeout game against Boston in round 2 last year, beat them by 38. Closeout game against Atlanta this year, beat them by 51. People kept creating like comps to first round against the Pistons, and that went down to the wire. That was Brunson hitting a shot over Arthur Thompson. Malik Beasley chance to tie the game. He just fumbles it out of bounds. The Knicks, that was a close series. The margin of victory, and that's going to be another thing we look at. The Hawks had 2 wins in this series, both by 1 point. Meanwhile, the Knicks win by 51, 29, 16, and then by 11 points. So let me add that up real quick. So 51 points, right? 51 29 gets you to 80. 80 16 gets you to 96. 96 11 gets you to 96 11 gets you to 107. So the Knicks margin of victory, if my math is correct, off the top of my head, is 107. 107. And then when you add in the Hawks winning by 1 and by 1, so they were plus 105 in this series. And you don't often see that in general, let alone a series that goes 6 games. Because 6 games would suggest to you that's a closely contested series. But it really wasn't by point differential. All right, so Onyx odds, largest margin of victory in an NBA playoff game. The Nuggets beat the Hornets by 58 in 2009. And that's the Melo's Nuggets team that eventually goes on to play Kobe's Lakers in the Western Conference Finals that year. Lakers, speaking of the Lakers, over the Hawks in 56, beat them by 58. Lakers over Warriors in the 1973, the infamous 1973 season for the Lakers, where they lose to the Knicks in the finals. They won by 56. Cavs by 55. I mentioned over the Heat. Bulls over Bucks in 2015, 51. So the Knicks don't quite grab the largest margin of victory in a playoff game, but they were 7 off, which is just incredible to think about, man. What a freaking game. And now you're watching the Celtics just vomiting all over themselves in Philadelphia, and they're going to have to go back to Boston to play a game 7 on Saturday. If you're a Knicks fan, who you rooting for? Like, honestly, who you rooting for on Saturday? because you want to play Boston just to show last year was no fluke. You want the smoke with the Celtics. And you think you're better than the Celtics. I think you're better than the Celtics. But the Sixers, I mean, despite the series after tonight will be 3-3 headed to a game 7, the Sixers are an inferior team. And you can't trust Embiid, who only played in 3 games in this series. Oh, this Celtics now down 23, by the way. And they've emptied their bench. And so they're punting on this and saying, we'll see you Saturday for game 7. What a disgraceful performance by Boston. Just an absolute, absolute disgrace. An absolute disgrace by the Celtics. Leading Wall, shout out to you. Did you hear Bauer Hour this morning? Why doesn't Winthrop let the producers ever host shows? Bauer Hour, I did see the clip. Shout out Tom Bauer, did his thing, man. Aiden Rock says the Knicks must capitalize in this situation. They can't repeat the same mistakes as last season. The pathway is there to make the finals. They can't let this opportunity go to waste. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big Blue, 1172. New York Knicks, tie to go. Yo, appreciate you, bro. I need an update on Tatum, and it's hard to get that as I'm watching or as I'm doing the stream. I'm trying to sift through Twitter to see what's up with Jason Tatum, because from my vantage point, it looked like he went to the locker room. So I'm trying to see what's going on. What's going on? What we do know is the Knicks are on to round 2. And it looks like that will start on Monday at the Garden if the Sixers win game 7, or in Boston if the Celtics get the victory. Joe Mazzulla is punting on the rest of this game. We've got a game 7 Saturday afternoon in Boston, which no one thought just 48 hours ago this was going to happen. You had Boston chance to ice it, close the deal at home in a game 5, and now you get rest for a couple of days, see what happens between the Knicks and the Hawks. But Philly, and that was a 3-point game with like 10 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Philly blitzed them, and now they're going to 7, man. Like, that's crazy. We might not even get Knicks Celtics. We've been previewing that for months, and we might not even get Knicks Celtics. That's crazy, man. That is just insane. Any update on Jason Tatum? I want the Celtics to win in set, because I asked Knicks fans who y'all rooting for in game 7 on Saturday afternoon, Celtics or Sixers. He says, I want the Celtics to win in 7, and I don't ever wish injury on a player, but if Tatum is hobbled, I want the C's. I hear that. Embiid is always hobbled. When are you back on the radio? Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to noon. That's when I'm back on the radio. So I'm on the radio Saturday until noon. I'm on television Saturday night after the Met post game, and then I'm back on the radio Sunday morning from 8 to noon. Maxey and Edgecombe could give us serious trouble, and B can be contained by Mitch, and Cat has been playing exceptional defense, but the two guards do scare me a little. Yeah, the Embiid question is, can he stay healthy for 2 straight weeks? And I just have no confidence in that. Not so far off from it being Knicks, Sixers, Raptors, and Magic in the second round. The Cavs are going to win that series. I think the Pistons will come back and beat Orlando as well. Franz Wagner was hurt, and it got dicey late. Cade went off. Paolo went off. But I just think Detroit, the better team, will find a way to get it done. They need some secondary scoring, man. Duren has been an abject disappointment in the playoffs so far. and they're just getting nothing from anyone not named Cade Cunningham. Tobias Harris, like somebody's got to step up for Detroit. They haven't had that. The Cavs got a good Harden game last night. They're up 3-2. The Raptors now with another injury. Brandon Ingram's got a foot issue. So I think Cleveland's going to close them out, pack them out tomorrow. And then honestly, I don't know, man. Like I would not be shocked if Boston lost this series. And I guess it's recency bias, but based on what we've seen, based on what we've seen in the last 2 games, I wouldn't be shocked. The reason why I pause is because I do have an injury update on Jason Tatum. Tom Azerly, who is an NBA writer for Clutch Point, says Jason Tatum went back to the Celtics locker room with some discomfort in his left calf late in the third quarter. He has since returned to the Boston bench with an ice pack on the calf. So you hope that's just like a cramp. But I mean, he was dealing with it for more than a quarter. And you're just always concerned, right? It's not the same leg. I don't think it's the same leg. Tatum tore he tore his right Achilles, right? Right, yeah. So it's not the same leg, but you do worry about like overcompensation, and then the injuries start to like build up. But yeah, he's got a calf discomfort. Yikes. And see, this is why you can't play with your food. This series should have been over in game 5, man. This series should have been over in game 5. And it would have allowed you to get extra rest. If they end on Tuesday, just based on how things played out, I think game 1 still doesn't get played until Monday, right? If they end this past Tuesday, you got the Knicks playing a game 6 in Atlanta tonight. You'll have potentially a game 7 between Minnesota and Denver on Saturday. So it just probably would have had like 6 days of rest if you would have just taken care of business in game 5. And because you didn't have that killer instinct and you let these boys hang around, not only do you have to go play a game 7, but you also got Tatum getting hurt in the midst of it. Aiden rocks. Can Cade replicate what he did last game? Score 45 last game. I don't know, man. Can he score 45 again? Sure, he can. I don't think he's gonna score 45 again in game 6. The Pistons are the better team. The Pistons are the better team. They should win. Lee Danwall says sit him out. Tatum's on the bench now. I guess that's the quote unquote blessing in disguise. And it is because you're getting waxed. No need to continue to put these guys out there. Just get ready and head back to Boston. The Magic have more scoring. Boncaro and Bane, their defense is good too. Angel Reese is on their side. Yeah, I just see Angel Reese, man. Angel Reese was did she post? It was on her Instagram, right? She posted Kane dunking on Duran. He got put in a body bag, and Angel Reese posted that on her IG. That was pretty funny. So yeah, I apologize. I usually have a lot more energy than I do tonight, but I told y'all my voice is compromised. We started the show, and then I had to send it right back to the countdown because I just lost my voice. I couldn't speak. I was coughing. It was embarrassing. And And with all the stuff I got going on this weekend on radio and TV, I was like, let's just chill. I want to come on here and celebrate with the Knicks fans, but we want to relax. We don't want to get too crazy and have my voice be shot. But shout out to all of you guys hopping in the chat, pulling up on me. We will return. Hell of a game 7 we have in store on Saturday night. I might pop on Saturday night after Celtics Magic to talk like an early preview of whoever it is the Knicks will be playing. Is it going to be Boston? Is it going to be Philadelphia? Who you rooting for if you're a Knicks fan? Tatum's now dealing with the calf issue. Crazy. Man. All right. So I appreciate y'all. Got to check in with the officers at ESPN New York. Peter was not feeling well either. Don was sick the whole season. Dan and Connor were also sick. I need to check. It's funny. I was with Rosenberg on Tuesday night at the Garden watching the Knicks game. And then all of a sudden I got home. I was doing the show after the game and I felt like trash. I felt like garbage. And toward the end of the show, my voice just starts going out. Whenever I'm sick, that's like the first thing that goes for me. It's like the most frustrating thing. When I'm sick, my voice is the first thing that goes. Lee Dan Wall says, yes, sir. Thank you. The future of New York sports radio. Hit the Ricola. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna holler at you guys. Real talk, man. I really do enjoy hopping on here and I appreciate you hopping in here and talking to the people. So shout out to you guys. Have a great rest of your night. I'll talk to y'all soon. Holla at your boy.